Do we have it? It all looks good. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't, look, here's what I did. I did the old unplug, plug back in. I did the old restart the computer. It was an OBS issue we were having. I don't know what else to tell you other than OBS problem, fix now, female cop, female fuck, doggo. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It wasn't YouTube. It wasn't, it could have maybe been Restream because when I tried to go on Restream, it wouldn't, Jesus. Thank you, A-Train. But OBS just would not cooperate no matter what happened. It was dropping 60% of our frames. I hit the restart. It all went back to where it was, so we're good now. I guess we'll leave it there. We'll do the rest of the show. I don't think the YouTube chat is showing up on my chat ninja. Oh no, it is. Okay, we're good. Wasn't before though. Like none of Roots' shit was coming through. We're good. All right. I think we're set. $30 away from today. Let's knock that out before we get all fucked up. Johnny had to go a little before 10 today anyway for a medical appointment, so I just let him go because I needed to restart everything anyway. So Johnny's good for the day. Thank you guys very much for your contributions. We're 30 away. Let's see if we can do that 5 and under at a time. Let's see if we can do the old 5 and under trick to knock out that last $30. Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Venmo, so on, so forth. You know how it goes. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we've got to get back into it. It's kind of weird to get back into it. It is kind of strange that, like, we made fun of that, like, funny little Jewish guy, and then all of a sudden everything goes to shit and, like, everything stops working. That always scares the fuck out of me. My history of being banned from platforms and strikes and shit like that, anytime my OBS craters and it drops off and everything else, I just go, oh, God, what did I do? What am I losing this time? But we were fine. Oddly enough, playing that clip was a Yetzer Hara trap. I didn't know it at the time. Yeah, Dive Bar says, do you know what a Yetzer Hara trap is now? No shit. I'm not sure what Johnny did to mess up the OBS, says Andrew Son. Oh, no, it was Johnny's fault? Fuck. Root says Aaron fell into that evil little Yetzer Hara trap. Something happened. That guy was keeping an eye on me, and he fucking ratted me out to the OBS feds. I'll tell you what, though. I get a very, like, I'm more relaxed nowadays. Every time that happens, I get a little more and more relaxed each time. Like this time, I was just like, fuck, that was annoying. We were $30 away. We'll come back. We'll knock it out. Not a big deal. We got a bunch of good stories I want to get to. I got a lot of show I want to do, but like it would usually be I would be sitting here tapping my leg and like, come on, reboot. Or I'd be sitting here, as the computer restarts going, hurry, go. This time I walked upstairs. I just kind of walked around for a little bit, made sure all my shit was where it needed to be for, I got to go get the car after the show here. So I was just making sure all my stuff was together. Very chill this time around. Hey, before we get kicked off again, thank you very much to somebody already commented on the last stream, Felted. By the way, Stoney's Bar, downtown Rockville, Minnesota. I hope you went there for the Vikings game yesterday. We mailed out the last batch of Stonies, and we're mailing out yesterday's batch of Stonies today. I addressed them during the Vikings game. We're going to put them in the mailbox, get them sent out, including Cheese, who saved our ass. So we got that. We've got Stoney's Bar, also with live music on the weekends. Great place to go watch the Vikings this weekend, this Sunday against the Seahawks, and then the following Sunday against the Packers. By the way, has that Vikings-Packers game been flexed to Sunday night yet? Vikings schedule. I know we're 305 against the Seahawks. Wow, we're still a noon game against the Packers, huh? And it looks like we are going to get flexed against the Lions because that game has now been declared to be determined. So Vikings-Lions will probably be Sunday Night Football. I'm anticipating that. But it looks like they're going to keep Vikings-Seahawks at 3:05 and Vikings-Packers at noon. January 5th, by the way. Okay, it is a Sunday. Yeah, they're flexing that one. Because it could be for the one seed in the entire NFC. And man, I'll tell you this, man, I'm not a fair fight kind of guy when it comes to my Vikings. If we can, I think the best time to play the Lions all year is right now. I mean, they are crippled with injuries. David Montgomery just went out for the year. They just lost 2 more defensive players for the rest of the season. So, look, we only lost to the Lions by 1 point last time around, and they don't have near the talent that they had the last time we played them. So this is the most vulnerable they've ever been. I think the toughest game we've got coming up until the Lions is the Seahawks on the road. Seattle is an incredibly difficult place to play. I think the Packers at home will be able to handle the Packers at home, but the Seahawks on the road, that's a tricky one. We get past that, I'm going to be happy. Let's see how they've done at home so far this year. How many have they lost at home? They lost to the Giants at home. That's extremely helpful. They've lost to the 49ers at home, lost to the Rams at home, lost to the Bills. Holy shit, are they under 500 at home? Lost to the Packers at home. Maybe Seattle isn't the home field advantage I thought it was. They've got 1, 2... Are they 2? They're 3-5 at home. Fuck. 3-5 at home are the Seahawks. Well, let's make it 3-6 this weekend. Spank the Monkey with $2. Says Aaron talks about Jews and the stream crashes. Weird. All right, we are trying to do the last bit of the goal with $5 and under. Nothing over $5. So that one... 20-40, that's $1.60. 28-40 away from today's goal. Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Venmo. Thank you guys very much for those contributions. Let's see if we can do it $5 and under over the course of the next hour. You guys might like this news. I saw this last night. It's just a rumor right now. It could be coming true. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is reportedly considering resignation as tensions build following the resignation of the country's finance minister. Now, there's a lot of issues they're having in Canada right now regarding us electing Donald Trump. They didn't expect it. The finance minister is pissed because Trump's talking about tariffs on Canada because he doesn't feel we're getting a fair deal, a good deal with all of our trade partners. He feels like people buy in bulk from the U.S., so they get a crazy discount on it. So... and that American companies take their shit and they move it to some of these other countries because it's a lot cheaper and the labor standards are less and the pay is less. And they think it'll be more cost efficient to just pay the shipping cost to send it to America rather than build it there. And Trump has decided that he's going to try and offset some of that with tariffs. I'm not a tariffs guy. Like, I like to think of myself as a free trade kind of guy, but if you can slap some tariffs on these countries and these companies decide, you know what, I don't feel like raising my prices, especially at a time of inflation. I don't feel like paying all these insane tariff prices. I'm going to move my shit back to the United States. I'm going to be right there in the number one market in the world. That's the ideal. The ideal with these tariffs is that we never collect a dime on these tariffs and that companies just bring jobs and manufacturing and all this other stuff back to the United States. How great would that be? That's never a guarantee. The finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, already resigned because they don't know how they're going to approach the Trump tariffs. Her and Trudeau disagree on it, and she bailed. Now, this has been called one of the largest crises of Trudeau's reign. Now, imagine that. Imagine how fucking boring of a country Canada is. That you disagreeing over tariffs is the biggest fundamental problem that you've had in your entire administration. Now, the governor of the state of Canada, as Trump calls him, is reportedly considering his own resignation. This was very interesting.
Do you want the Christmas holiday to be interrupted by a federal election campaign?
I think our right now Canadians' Christmas holidays are being interrupted by the NDP Liberal hell they're living under, lining up 2 million people at food banks, 1,400 homeless encampments, a doubling of gun crime, the worst inflation in 40 years, our 6 consecutive quarters of shrinking per capita GDP, $500 billion of investment leaving for the United States. Parents are tossing and turning at night because we have the most indebted households by far in the G7. That's the real hell that is interrupting people's Christmas spirit right now.
Hey, but at least you can wait 3 years for free cancer care. Hey. By the way, if you get that government health care, the MAID program, those kind of programs are the natural end of universal government health care, single-payer health care. Because the government is going to find out, holy shit, this is expensive. We've underfunded it. We're running deficits. This is becoming a huge loss for our country. Well, how do you stop paying so much out of pocket for medical expenses? Well, these people dying younger sure would help. So maybe when these people come in and they're really sick, maybe we talk them into just, calling it a day. That'll save us some cash. That's your last-ditch effort. You know when Sarah Palin was called a Looney Tune? She was called crazy because she said single-payer health care would lead to death panels. Well, they've got death panels now in Canada. They've just included you in the death panel. But their solution to rising healthcare costs is, why don't we try to kill some people? So Canada's going through it right now. And you heard the stats that this guy's rattling off. They sound like they've got it just as bad as anyone.
Right now, and I think the best Christmas present we could give Canadians is to let them choose a new common sense conservative government that will bring home Canada's promise so that anyone from anywhere can do anything. Hard work gets them a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food, homes, and wonderful Christmas gifts to go under the tree. Thank you.
Wow, look at the Conservatives might make a move in Canada. Now, don't get too excited because a Canadian Conservative is like an American moderate Democrat. So they're not, it's not like we're talking about, oh my God, Canadian Trump's going to be in charge. No, it's not like that. I don't care who takes over. I don't really give a shit too much about Canadian politics. But I'll tell you this. If I get to watch Trudeau make a resignation speech, I'm a happy guy. Oh, by the way, those 2 people that we were looking for their addresses to send them last month's Stoney's gift cards, they did DM. They said give them away. So we do have 2 more Stoney's gift cards. $20 gets you a $50 gift card to Stoney's. So if you want to send that to Venmo, PayPal, or Streamlabs, go ahead. Also, we got about $28 left in today's goal. If you want to chip in, let's do that. $28.40 is the official number. We had somebody ask if they said, oh, Aaron, actually, you're $29.30 away. So I go, all right, if you guys want to do the chip and down game, we'll do the chip and down game. $5 and under, and we'll count it down to the dollar. If you guys want to throw in a couple of bucks to the show, and we do your 30 minutes of overtime today. Thank you. By the way, thank you to the morning audience. That afternoon audience yesterday got us $160 into today's goal. It was fucking bananas, and we appreciate it so much. We also had JP with $100 today, so he's climbed into that top 4. Top 4 looks like this. Gray Duckling is in first with $162. Crunchy's in second with $160. Tommy Ups with $100. JP with $100. And then Dina with $50 is in fifth place, I believe. Yes, Red Fox Matt has $49. So he's very, very close to Dina. And Trucker 18 Wheeler is at $40. So he's close to that top 5 as well. Thank you guys very much for your contributions. Let's keep those going. And let's call it another win for the toe. So $20 gets you $50 to Stoney's if you're one of the next 2 to do it. And then we're also looking to knock out that $28.40. Thank you very much. Mass shooting story sounds like kind of a bummer right now. I'm not going to lie. We'll get just the facts of this Wisconsin mass shooting story, and then we'll get back to other things.
We are closely watching the Madison Fire Department and Madison Police in Wisconsin now. There has been a school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. We know of reports of multiple injuries in all of this from the fire department now and police departments. Police are investigating a shooting at Abundant Life Christian. Please avoid that area. And then there's some blocked off road information. This is on their X account. And so we're starting to see some movement in this story. I can tell you that these things come in a drip normally. And what we know so far is that this remains an active and ongoing investigation. More information to be released as soon as it's available from the Madison Police Department.
I just, for once, I'd like the information not to be the suspect was known to law enforcement. I would like it not to be his family thought that he was a little crazy and he was off his meds and he had made threats like this before and we had found drawings and notebooks. Just one time, don't let it be that. One time, don't let it be the Simpsons meme, say it, say it, say it. Don't let the FBI come in and go, yeah, people warned us about this kid. I guess it was a student that did it. I just don't want to find out. Like the last school shooting we had, we found out that the kid that day called these schools and told them he was going to do it. And they didn't shut everything down and they weren't prepared to stop him or anything else. He still came in and killed all those people. It's like, ineptitude is contributing to these mass shootings almost as much as the shooters are at this point.
They will set up a perimeter on this, which is...
Oh, somebody's saying it's a chick. Okay.
What's happening with those roadblocks and so on and so forth. And they will set up a command center to handle inquiries, mainly by parents, but also by media. The school has about 390 students from kindergarten through high school. And at Abundant Christian, they are dealing with the situation that you pray.
Stop, guys. I got to say, don't throw in any more money for a Stoney's gift card. They are both gone. Nicholas and D'Amico, please send me an email and get me your contact information. AaronImholtradio@gmail.com. Send me your contact info so I can mail these out to you today. I want to get all of these mailed out today, so they can get to you guys for the weekend. D'Amico and Nicholas, AaronImholtradio@gmail.com. Please send me your contact info so I can get those sent out. That also means it's another win for the toe, and you guys are $10 into tonight. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Would never happen, but certainly close with young children this close to Christmas.
All right, let's get the newest information, because I am getting people sending me quite a bit of stuff on what specifically happened with this Wisconsin shooting. Here we go. Wisconsin shooting. Mussolini Diff with $2 says police fled the scene for their own safety. Tell me that is not true. Tell me you're fucking with me and you're making that up. I don't want to hear that shit. We could go with an NBC News report or CNN's latest on the Madison, Wisconsin shooting. We have to do more as a society. Of course, 15 minutes ago, Wisconsin representative calling for gun reform. What Wisconsin law says about guns and minors. Investigators are looking into how the 15-year-old female trans people and females are starting to do school shootings now. That's very odd. This used to be like it used to be a monolith. The school shooter used to be the depressed, bullied white kid who had no friends, and the Columbine trope would play out. Now we're getting a lot more different types. We're definitely DEIing school shootings at this point. And like most DEI initiatives, I don't think that's a good thing. Okay. I gotta write this down. Oh my God, this is great. So Nico is sending. I'm not going to say it. Nico, I'm not going to say what you're doing with your Stoney's gift card. But this is a great fucking idea. Thank you. I gotta... Here, hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure I've got this all written down. Perfect. Flip that over. Thank you, Nico. That's very kind of you, sir. That'll be very funny to send. And I'm going to send that with a steel toe sticker as well. Thank you, buddy. Mussolini Diff, thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. I'm going to take down all these pinned messages here because there's no more gold today. You guys knocked it out once again, and you're $10 ahead for tomorrow morning. And goddamn, do we appreciate it. Thank you so much. So much. Let's get the latest. The Madison, Wisconsin school shooter was a radical feminist who wanted to kill all men. Here's an extract from a manifesto. Women are the only hope for this wretched world, but even women have been brainwashed by moids for too long. They've internalized the patriarchy and turned on each other, always begging for male approval and validation. It's disgusting. I realize the truth. Men are irredeemable. Rad femme Hitler is fucking vindicated now. They can't be reformed or redeemed. They're a fucking scourge upon the earth. The only solution is to totally exterminate them. I'm sorry, this shit, again, COVID broke my brain, man. I will admit it. This sounds like Fed shit. This sounds like Fed shit. This sounds like if the Feds were to create in their mind what a crazy school shooter would say. And this one has to be a female, and it has to be a feminist, and this just seems to me, this all seems set up. This all seems like it's being done from the inside. Hey, we've got a shooter. This time it's a woman. She's a feminist. Oh, you right-wingers, you hate feminists, right? Oh, she's invoking Hitler and extermination and patriarchy and all this shit. It fits, when it all fits together too perfect and it's not very messy, that doesn't sit right with me. This shit is psyops. This shit is what do you call? What's the Ted Kaczynski thing? Why do I keep wanting to say blue bonnet? What's the God damn it? The Ted Kaczynski MK Ultra. It reeks of a fucking setup, big time. Yankee says that's way too advanced for a teenage girl. Not if you're on TikTok. It's not. That's some brainwashing shit right there. It's either an American government psyop or the Chinese have successfully infiltrated by brainwashing our kids and women through TikTok. Andrew Sun says, seems a bit short-sighted to eliminate all men. Yeah, it does. It does seem like you haven't thought the whole eliminating all men thing. You haven't thought that one through. But who am I to look, hands up. I'm not judging. And, I'm sure we're going to hear that there were warning signs. I'm sure we're going to hear that, people thought she wasn't right. A teacher and teenage student were killed. Here's my thing about these fucking psychotic, politically motivated school shooters. Tell me how wiping out a teacher and a student is going to change any of that. Tell me how believing that the patriarchy is Hitler and the women are all looking for Hitler's appreciation and they're looking for Hitler's approval. That teacher wasn't necessarily looking for Hitler's approval. That student wasn't necessarily looking for Hitler's approval. Why is it we always turn on each other? We don't turn on any of the people that people think are powerful or doing all of this shit. Because either A, the person doing it is a psycho, or B, it was a setup by the fucking government to try and take guns away and get people to fight with each other. I'm sorry, but I've seen this shit happen too much. I don't buy the official stories anymore. I don't believe that it's just this crazy kid who one day just grabbed a gun and started shooting people. I don't buy it's something else. But here's where you sound crazy to other people as you go, it's something else. I don't know what. I don't have any information to back that up. I'm not really totally sure what the fuck I'm talking about. but it doesn't seem right. Careful, Alex. The Onion will try to buy the toe next, says Turd Burglar. Just need teenage angst and suddenly incoherent rage. That's true. You know what? The impatience of a teenager. Eaton Clam says, has she been cremated already? Did they take her down? Take her out? Did they already Police said a second grade student called 911 about the shooting at a private K-12 school.
Madison, Wisconsin.
We know that 3 people are dead, including the suspect shooter.
Okay.
We know that the suspect shooter was a teenage student who attended the school.
A teacher and teenage student were killed in the shooting.
Everybody can come in. All EMS can come in. Shooter is down.
Police are not releasing the shooter's age or gender, but say they injured 6 others. They say the...
That's interesting. The police are not, maybe they hadn't told the family yet. But it also does feel like when the shooter identifies as non-binary or female, that news is slower to come out. If the shooter is white and male, plastered all over the news within an hour. If they're Muslim, if they're non-binary, if they're trans, or if they're a female, well, guys, we got to wait. We don't want to be irresponsible. Hey, but don't worry. It's all the patriarchy at work, The
scene was confined to one space in the small private school, which houses kindergarten through 12th grade.
2 students are now in critical condition in the hospital, and these injuries are considered life-threatening injuries.
Police crediting a team of medics who were conducting a training exercise nearby for rushing in to aid the response.
Really? Well, that's just lucky then that you had medics so close to the school.
Neighbors witnessed the scramble.
I saw groups of kids coming out of the school in groups into the church sanctuary, probably as they were in lockdown, and clearing the building and slowly taking out the kids bit by bit by bit.
Spaghetti Factory says the gals at Pretty Antisocial say Aaron is a limp-wristed, emotionally stunted soy boy who needs women to do manly tasks for him. Any response? I don't know. You seem to need a man to be able to do a fucking show, so you're welcome, gals. Besides, what 2 unfuckable shrews think about steel toe makes no never mind to me. I'm just glad they can grab my coattails and they can have something to do in their free time instead of bitching to each other about whatever it is they probably bitch about normally.
According to an NBC...
I will say, those 2, when it comes to steel-toe derangement syndrome, those 2 are a couple of my favorites because they are remarkably toothless and they are remarkably witless. So it is kind of fun to have them kind of dance to the steel-toe tune.
News tally, this is the 4th...
Thank you for the $5, Spaghetti Factory.
...active shooting in an American school this year. Police say a handgun was used, but say they don't yet have details of a possible motive. The police chief says the shooter's family is cooperating. The White House says federal officials have offered support to local authorities to aid with the investigation. Last year, a shooting at a Christian school in Nashville left 6 people dead. The shooter, a former student, was shot dead at the scene.
What's up with the Christian school shootings? Is there a message in there? Is there something? Because I think was the Tennessee one a trans kid? Was that the trans shooter? I know there's been a couple of them, but I wonder if there's a message in the whole, Christian schools being the targets.
Tonight, parents in Wisconsin left shaken as another community is again left in mourning.
This is not okay. If your kids are at school, they are not okay. If they are at church, they are not okay. If they are outside, elsewhere, they are not okay.
Okay, see that? That's what makes me believe this is all bullshit and this is all designed and this is all kind of part of the plan, so to speak. That's what they want out of this. They want that feeling. Can't go outside, can't go to school, can't go to church. Good, the progressives don't want you in church. Progressives want you worshiping the state. They don't want you worshiping Christ. They don't want you even worshiping Allah. They don't want you worshiping any of that shit. They want the state needs to be your God. So if there's a shooting at a Christian school, the reaction that the powers that be want out of the parents and want out of the community is, we're not safe at our churches. We're not safe at our Christian schools. Get them to question their God. And then this manifesto where she's talking about all men are terrible and the patriarchy, and these women are begging for their approval, and they all just need to be exterminated anyway. That doesn't sound like a 15-year-old radical feminist who's about to camp a bunch of people. It just, again, it sounds like what the FBI would say if they were writing a letter for somebody else. Eaton Clem says, it's a Jamaican crisis actor, man. Oh, I tell you, my church is now a Roscott Bomberclot, man. I am not filling up like 7. I am not filling up. Wagwan, I say that everything not going be Irie. Skeezy Whitefish says, remember to be afraid. Sam Show says, I'm pretty sure you've all had grandpas that told you just how fucking useless the government is. Well, Dig Bick says, you're wrong. Islam is the only acceptable religion to them. Not in the long run. They will, here's the kind of the Communist Manifesto, the Karl Marx skinny on all this shit. You take down, you undermine the big one, right? And it's okay to use the smaller ones as long as you're undermining the big ones, and that one becomes the big one. Repeat the process. Destroy all belief in religion, destroy all belief in family, destroy all belief in community. The state is your God. That's Marxism. The thing about Marxism that sucks so bad is if you have to take a better idea and make it shitty for the Marxist revolution to take place, which it should baffle the mind, because if you have a better idea and that's your revolution, like the French had democracy over their over their monarchy, and look, that turned into the Robespierre and the Blade and all that. I mean, that was a fucking nightmare. But then you got Napoleon, you got some order. But then the current world order at the time, all the monarchies descended on Napoleon, and they were never going to leave Napoleon alone because Napoleon was creating a new thing. Like, you talk about the good guy loses the war and the winners get to write the history. The Napoleonic Wars are 100% that. Napoleon was trying to create, like, go read the Napoleonic Law Code and compare it to the monarchies of the time. Napoleon was trying to build something better. But the monarchies were worried if Napoleonic law starts to take root and these small kingdoms in Europe start to like it, then they're going to throw off the yoke of the Austrians, the Prussians, the British, and the Russians. So they had to attack Napoleon endlessly. And Napoleon kept winning against all odds. He was a very special guy. Not to say Napoleon was perfect. He had despotic tendencies too. But it was an improvement over the monarchies of Europe. He had a better idea. He didn't need to tear down the original idea to make his idea better. Marxism, you have to actively tear down something better in order to get the shitty thing that is Marxism. Wipe out God, wipe out your community, wipe out your church. And that's, I'm telling you, COVID broke my brain, and I'm willing to go all the way down in the spiral on this. They're attacking Christian churches, these last couple of school shootings, to break people's faiths. If the Christian schools can't be safe, if Christ can't protect his flock from a mass shooting, that's why we've been seeing a lot of stories the last year or so where people with concealed carry permits, where people have been stopping potential shootings at their churches in these small towns by confronting the shooter with equal deadly force. I think it's part of an op. I do. I think it's part of an op to undermine the church, to create this new progressive system that gets away from God. And look, I'm not a religious man, but I understand, like Napoleon, I understand the value of Christianity. I understand the value of Christ in a society. I understand where following that is a lot better than a lot of the other shit we do. I do not have an adversarial relationship or feeling with Christ or Christianity because I understand the benefits of it to having a healthy society and healthy development. So you got to tear down Christianity. So when Dig Bick said, I'm sorry, long-winded way to get to Dig Bick's question here. He says, no, they think Islam's okay. They don't. They think Islam's okay for now, because if Islam can undermine Christianity or can help them undermine Christianity, and then people cease to believe, then they'll use the next people who don't like Muslims, and then they'll tear down Islam, make people not believe in that. The ultimate goal is to eliminate faith in everything but the state. So, when I see that another Christian school got attacked, it raises red flags for me. Yankee says, rules for radicals. They've been working on it for decades. Well, was it Solzhenitsyn, or was it somebody else? Or was it a Soviet professor who came over here in like the 60s or 70s and said, this is a multi-generational process. Like, they're going to infiltrate the universities, and they're going to get a hold of your children's brains, and they're going to keep doing that for generations and generations until slowly there's kind of this Marxist revolution. And he said to the interviewer, they're already here. Like, this is already taking place in the United States. They're already undermining your culture. Like, we haven't won the Cold War yet. It ain't over. The Soviet Union's gone, but the Cold War ain't over. If this is the real one, I think he came here for the right rant. 99 cents from PPP, Ashton from Keno Casino. Whoa, buddy.
Wow.
I don't know if that's the actual Ashton or not. I doubt it, but I'm a fan. Oh, no, it's because the image is just of Ashton's butthole. All right. Sam Show says, I don't even know what our culture/identity even is. Well, that's by design too. Because I'm living in a very interesting time where I've kind of grown up on both sides of the divide. Like, I remember growing up in the 90s that there was an American culture, assimilation was encouraged even by Bill Clinton. Like, even Democrats of the day were like, you come here, you got to speak English. That was not controversial. And then that changed as I got older. That changed into, hell, you don't even have to do it legally to come over here, and we'll let you stay and, siphon off our resources and everything else. And by the way, here's where the brainwashing, the Marxism comes from. If you try to go back to that feeling of the 90s, if you try to go back to that popular opinion, we will shame you. We will call you racist. We will call you a bigot. We will isolate you from society. That's what cancel culture is. Cancel culture is part of a Marxist plot as well. It's all part of the plan, is to delegitimize, demonize, and isolate people from otherwise reasonable opinions that have been very popular historically. Because the thing with Marxism is it has to fight dirty because it can't fight you openly. It can't win on ideas. It has to tear down popular ideas so that they're all that's left. And that's what's frustrating. Bigot on social media says Cold War wasn't Cold War against communism, but Russia isn't a communist country anymore. Yes, but it's decentralized. Communism, Marxism, all of that, it's decentralized. It moved from Russia into American universities and American institutions, in my opinion. Cold War won't be over until the garbage idea of communism dies off. I can't believe I got here from the Wisconsin school shooting, but like, all of this stuff glows to me now.
Where are they going to be safe?
Shock, what more are you learning about the investigation at this hour?
Well, Lester, police say they've made contact with the family of the suspect, but would not detail those conversations. We know investigators are interviewing witnesses, going through surveillance video, and executing search warrants. But the motive tonight and how the suspect was able to get access to that firearm is still unclear.
I love that Shaquille O'Neal had such an impact and was such a good basketball player that we're now seeing generations of people in their 20s and 30s clearly named after Shaq. There were no Shaquilles before Shaquille O'Neal. Now we got Shaq Griffin, Shaq Lawson, this fucking guy. Now there's Shaqs all over the place. I like that. Chris O says, no, you dummy. Rules for Radicals is Saul Alinsky. Oh, I know. I wasn't saying that Solzhenitsyn was Rules for Radicals. He's the Gulag Archipelago. He's a totally different guy. I just didn't know if he was the guy who warned us about the universities and all that. You're thinking of Yuri Bezmenov. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Yuri Bezmenov was the Soviet expat who told us, like, look, they're in your fucking schools already, bro. I'm sorry. You guys think that you're doing some shit. You think that you're beating the Soviets. I'm telling you right now, they're here. KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov's warning to America. Yeah.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet...
Keep in mind, 1939, 1984. This guy's 45 years old. This is always weird to look at, like, how poorly we aged back then. And I think some of it was we all smoked cigarettes. But, like, this guy's... the guy you're about to see is 8 years older than I am now. And if my memory serves me correct, he looks like a grandpa.
Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times.
Look at that. That's a 45-year-old man back in 1984. That guy's 67 today. I don't mean like him. He's dead. 40 years ago. Well, you know what? Yuri Bezmenov might still be alive. 40 years ago, 45, be 85 years old. He could still be kicking. But that does not look like a 45-year-old man. That guy, take a look, is 8 years older than I am right now. Fudge.
Times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of...
See, that's the thing, like, Marxism is not... It's not built on building anything. It's just built on destroying other things. It's the most spiteful, jealous philosophy someone could possibly have.
KGB or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that...
Dude, all the gaslighting and the tearing down and the backstab, like, Marxism really is the most narcissistic philosophy there is. Because it's everything that a narcissistic, like, abusive person does. Like, you're happy with the way things are. They try to convince you that it's not. They try to get you to think that you don't like what you have. That gaslighting bullshit. You're like, what? No, I like this. No, you don't. And blah, blah, blah.
In spite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in four basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students.
So basically, Marxism is like the tobacco company. Hook them while they're young and just beat this into them for 15 to 20 years. Sound familiar? Like what our school system is doing with gender identity and shit like that now? Hook them while they're young. That way, when their parents tell them, no, that's not how the world works, honey, they'll be like, oh, my teachers warned me about that. You're bigoted and you're behind the times and old-fashioned. It's like, no, I'm right.
In the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
Listen to how passionate people who come from shitty communist countries are about how good America is. Like, we have our criticisms, and we're very critical of the United States, and we should be. But it's because we live here and we're used to it. But you get, like, people who left the Soviet Union in the 70s and 80s who are still here, or you get people who come here from China or somewhere else, and they'll tell you, it's like, you guys, you don't understand how good you have it. Or Venezuelan immigrants who come here, they'll be like, you have no fucking clue what you're asking for. You have no idea what you already have, and you have no idea what you're trying to throw away.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it...
Basically saying all these fucking baby boomers became commies, all the flower children and all that. But you know what? The boomers did kind of grow out of that and just become gross, soulless pigs. So I don't know if that's necessarily better.
It's done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic
Sounds
proof,
hot,
with
bro.
documents, with pictures.
So sexy.
Even if I take him by
showering people with information is sexy. It's just sex.
force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand.
I love this guy. He's like, yeah, when you guys get kicked in the fucking dick by this shit, then you'll know. Talk your fucking commie shit until you get kicked in the fucking asshole and you have your balls ripped off. I like this guy.
But not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
Right. Right. They break down, oh, everything your parents built is retarded and oppressive and terrible and shitty. And like, oh, what we're building up is great though, right? Yeah, for us, not for you. You got to fucking obey us now. Like, it's not like they're going to give you freedom. They're going to become your new mom and dad, but they didn't birth you, so they don't give a fuck about you. So they're going to treat you even shittier than the last people did. Good job, dickhead.
The next stage is destabilization.
Hey, was Freud a Marxist? I want to look into that.
This time, subverter does not care about
or did Freud come before Marx? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting a lot.
Ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby doesn't matter anymore.
We did.
This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that...
Well, you got to give the United States this. We still got plenty of those defense systems. We got so much of them, we start wars in other countries and give those people money. McBuster says, communism is only 100 years old and the USSR already failed. They need to augment communism with capitalism because Marxism is a failed model. I thought 1848 was when the Communist Manifesto was written. I could be wrong. When was the Communist Manifesto written? I thought it was 1848. Yeah. Originally published in London by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and originally published in London in 1848. Damn, how do you... Isn't that weird? There's certain things that are just fucking in your brain. Like someone goes, oh, Communist Manifesto, that was written 100 years ago. I'm like, pretty sure that was like 175 years ago, wasn't it? You're like, Jesus Christ. You kind of freak yourself out with that shit. Was Freud a Marxist? No, Sigmund Freud was not a Marxist, although he did engage with Marxist ideas in his work, particularly criticizing what he saw as a purely economic explanation of history and suggesting that psychological factors also play a significant role in societal development. However, he acknowledged the influence of economic conditions on human behavior, showing a degree of alignment with Marxist thought in that area. Did a lot of blow, too. He liked cocaine and Marxism, apparently. If Marxism is designed to make other ideas fail, is it really failing? Looks like it's working just fine. Oh, no, I'm like in that regard, yes. I'm saying when it takes over something, it doesn't work. Like, it's the underpants gnomes of government. Step 1, destabilize your country. Step 2, Step 3, power. That's it. And really, all communism does, communism just basically takes all of your wealth. It doesn't redistribute to everyone else. It just gives it to the party. So if, like, you're a member of the Communist Party in a communist country, you're going to be well taken care of. You're going to get everybody's money. But do you think those people really have a vested interest to give you back any of it? No. They're going to be like, wait, we have this giant pot of everybody's money, and we get to dole it out however we want? Well, I could just give it out to my buddies and give them jobs, and then that way they'll be loyal to me so I can keep gaining power in the party. That sounds pretty rad. Cool. Starvation? Yeah, I can't see it from my house. Freud was a cokehead who wanted to fuck his mother, says McBuster. Yeah, put that in the book. Yeah, Puerto Rican prostate puncher with a good point. Karl Marx, Leon Trotsky, Vladimir Lenin, Frederick Engels, Sigmund Freud. I don't know what we're trying to say. I lost my train of thought, damn it. I do want to play this Jennifer Lopez thing, believe it or not. We've been getting pretty heavy. I mean, that school shooting talk brought us into communism and Marxism and all that shit. Thank you guys for knocking out today. You're also, you're now $15 or $20. I'll check after the show. $15 or $20 into tonight. Thank you to the morning crew. We got into it pretty heavy on that school shooting deal. Jennifer Lopez had a bit of a I don't know, was it testy? I don't know if it's a testy moment, but she wasn't happy. She was a little shocked that an interviewer decided to ask her about her age. Now, there's a very delicate way that this needs to be brought up, because I know that we all mean it as a compliment when we go, wow, Jennifer Lopez looks fucking smoking hot for name whatever age she is, right? I don't think Jennifer Lopez sees it that way. I think Jennifer Lopez sees herself as just hot. You know, we see her as hot for her age. She sees herself as just, oh, I'm a fucking smoke show, right? That's a tough one. That's a tricky one, because it's meant as a compliment, but it's not going to be received that way because the woman doesn't want to be reminded of her age. She had an interview recently where it did seem like things went a little bit off the rails for a while. Let's take a look.
Listen, I can't believe it's been 30 years since Selena. I can't believe that in 30 years we're going to do the retrospective of this and you'll be 60 by then, which is... Wow.
Yeah, like, see why? That's an internal monologue. That's an inner thought. I can't believe it's been 30 years since you did this. I can't believe you're going to be 60. Shut the fuck up. Read the room, asshole. That's a great internal thought to have. That's a great conversation piece. If people are talking about pop culture and Jennifer Lopez comes up, that's perfectly fine to be talking to your friends and go, can't believe she's going to be 60. She looks fucking fantastic. Can't believe it's been that long. But when you're talking to the person themselves, feel free to not say that shit to them.
Get up there. No, I think what you...
He just said, you're getting up there. This is where female celebrities have a point, because it's like, would you say that to Al Pacino when he was 60? Would you say that to fucking, Josh Brolin? Do you say the same thing? Or is it just female celebrities we obsess over the age part?
I think what you do in this movie is one of your best performances yet. And
would this babbling dickhead get to the point?
That I'm getting up there, and
that's legit, by the way.
It's because I want to say thank you, you guys. Because we've been doing this a long time together.
You're awesome.
We've been doing it a long time, and you guys have been here with me. And today I was singing some new songs, and I went back and sang "If You Had My Love," which is...
You notice she's totally blowing this guy off. She's like, and I want to thank you guys. I have been around for 30 years, and that's because of you, and thank you so much. Because she's got to, she's still an A-lister. She's got to be a celeb. She's got to play nice. What she wants to do is go, hey, you know what? Fuck you, and don't ever ask me a question like that again. So she has to take that anger, and she has to let it turn. So she's like, yes, I have been around for 30 years. And I guess I'm getting up there. And I want to thank you guys for letting me be around as long as you have. When you know she just wants to strangle this dumb motherfucker in his stupid hat.
My first song, 1999. And it's that thing of like, what a journey this has been. And I honestly feel that the best is yet to come. I honestly feel that my creativity and who I am as an artist.
Yeah. Ali said that before he fought Larry Holmes. Look, it's okay to get old. It's great to get old. You know, you got a long career to look back on. You get to give people advice on other things, but like this obsession with like, I'm going to be my best at 60 something. It's like, that's great to strive for. That's awesome. But there's nothing wrong with also saying, you know, like, man, was I good 25 years ago. Fuck, was I incredible. God damn, around the turn of the century, I was the hottest thing out there.
It's like you said, I also feel that this for me was another kind of level for me of going deeper into who I am as a person, as an artist. And these type of roles change.
I don't care. That was a very front-loaded clip. We didn't need the rest of it. But I didn't really think that was... Yeah, joking that the 55-year-old is getting up there. What is this the... Is this another... Did this asshole make another stupid, retarded comment?
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Woo!
Boricua.
Love the movie. Thank you.
Jennifer, Miss Lopez, Mama Lopez, you have done it again. When you're looking at a career such as yours, you don't have to do this anymore. Like you've done, you made the stardom, you've turned acclaimed performances, and you're still getting better and better. Why unstoppable at this point in your career? Why did you want to do it and continue to do it?
I don't like, that's such a weird, like, that's a dumb question too, because it's like, you don't have to do this. Why? Because I have a shitload of money? Like, everybody puts their thoughts into someone else's head. Like, this guy's like, if I had Jennifer Lopez's money, I'd never work again. That's why you're not as successful as Jennifer Lopez. She doesn't have that attitude of, oh, I've got enough, I'll stop. No, she wants to keep creating. She wants to keep doing things. The money is kind of, that's the side thing. That's the perk. That's the payment. You have this, you don't love singing and acting the way Jennifer Lopez does. So you see it as, if I had to do that, I'd make this much money and then I'd quit. So this idea that, what makes you keep doing this? You know, you don't have to. Like, she doesn't fucking know that. What makes you keep doing it? I'm good at it, so I keep going. You know what? I wish more people would do the Jerry Lewis interview. That's a good interview to do. Remember when that Hollywood Reporter guy came to Jerry Lewis's house? And he just no-sold everything because the guy was a fucking cunt. This one. I wish...
Have you ever thought about retiring?
I wish more celebrities did the Jerry Lewis interview.
We're doing a feature on people who are still working in their 90s. Have you ever thought about retiring?
Why?
Was there never a moment that you thought it might be time to retire, or you would want...
Why?
You come from a generation a little older, and I think of Bob Hope, George Burns, Sinatra.
Would you just answer him? Like, that's the other thing. Like, Jerry Lewis is like, why? He's like, well, because you're fucking old. And you're like, no, I'm still performing. I'm still good at it. Go fuck yourself. Like, this could have escalated to so much more if this guy wouldn't have been so fucking nutless. He's a 90-year-old man. What's he going to do? Choke you?
You knew, many of whom
L.A.
didn't want
pussy.
or never retired either. Do you see similarities with them?
None.
None? What do you think drives people like you and them to want to keep working?
Because we do it well.
You could tell that Jerry wanted to give that a 1 or 2 word answer, but he was searching. He was like, fuck. How can I say that? How can I be a dick, but use as few words as possible?
And how about what's different about performing now for you than, say, 20 years ago? How is it different for you?
It isn't.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Have you made any? Do you have to make any concessions to being, older in your performing, or does it? How do you keep the material fresh for yourself?
by working at it.
See, that's another one where he's like, I think that was 4 or 5 words. That's more than I wanted to use. But I wish more people would give this attitude to these stupid reporters who feel entitled to ask stupid questions.
You've had a number of health issues over the last few years.
Yeah, I'm fucking 90, asshole.
People your age do.
Anyone that's 90 does.
Anyone that's 90 does. Continuing to work, does that actually help you get healthier? You know, does being sort of busy.
You're 90. You could die at any time. And I can see why he's annoyed. And you're going to waste your fucking day doing this horse shit with this little dipshit, bitchy, LA, snarky Hollywood reporter writer. I get it. I understand why he's upset.
And engage. Do you think that's actually helps you get healthier?
No.
Do you think it hurts? Like, do you think?
No.
He wants to leave right now.
You've been coming to Vegas.
Look at that. I love that. He's looking at somebody off camera and it's a wink and a nod to let the guy off camera know I'm fucking with this kid. Watch. Right over here. Get ready.
You've been
right there. He's like, I fucking got him. On some level, Jerry's enjoying this.
You've been coming to Vegas you've lived here for a while. You've been coming here for a long time. How is Vegas different for you than when you first came here? When was the first time you performed in Vegas?
1947.
Can you tell me what Vegas was like when you first showed up?
It's not. It's the same.
You look at the fucking Cosmopolitan and what Caesar's Palace looks like and the Wynn and the fucking now the Fontainebleau and all this shit they got now in Vegas to a picture of Vegas in 1947, and Jerry Lewis looks this guy right in the eye and goes, it's the same. Fuck you.
It's the same?
Exactly the same.
Yep. MGM Grand.
What is it about Vegas that you like?
Mandalay Bay.
Like, how would you describe the place? Like, when you show up in 1947, what was it? It wasn't a little bit of a dusty cow town. It was, what was it like?
A dusty cow town.
I like that because Jerry couldn't give an answer that was only three words long, so he's like, I'll let him give it to me.
And do you still think of it as a sort of dusty cow town?
No.
And how about, is performing in Vegas now for you different than it was then? Like, just either the mechanics or the size of the...
No.
He's answering these like they're a checklist. He's like, I'll get to the end eventually.
You know, now you're still performing. You're 90. What's your audience like? Who are your fans? Are they different than they used to be?
No, they're still the same.
But you must have younger fans who...
Some are younger.
What do you think it is you have that attracts you to younger fans? Like how have you sort of maintained your audience over the years?
You tell them you're playing there and they show up.
Nothing different than that?
No.
How about, you've had a long and distinguished career. Do you have
He really is
period of your career?
Jerry Langford from King of Comedy.
As a moment when you were favorite, happiest, or your most creative?
What do you mean?
Well, like, is there a period in your career?
Right, that's we're running out of time anyway. I wish more celebrities would give that interview. Turd Burglar says this interview is like Kiki as a co-host giving nothing. Oh man. Michaeline. Skeezy Whitefish says, buddy, take the hint, right? Like he was trying to tell you, like, this is over. This is done. We're finished. Dig Bick says, could die at any age. You're now old enough to get your doctor's finger in your butt. No, I'm not. 37. I'm a spring chicken. MSO says, and you are Rupert Pupkin. My name is Rupert Pupkin. I don't want to be Rupert Pupkin. Nobody wants to be Rupert Pupkin, Aaron. I know. I gotta do this now. Guys, thank you very much. It was a fun show. Sorry for the little technical difficulty towards the end there. Came back, got it done. Thanks for knocking everything out. We're having a great week. We'll be back again at 7 o'clock tonight. I got to picking up my son from school today. We're going to do another birthday thing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday wasn't enough. We're going to do another birthday thing today. And he's spoiled. What can I say? Take it easy. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you tonight.